My name is Graham Pearce. I've been a Christian for a long, long time, over 50 years, and God has been very good to me throughout that time. I first met God when I was 18. I was drunk in charge of a pew in an Anglican church on Christmas Eve, and God spoke into my life and said I needed to make a decision either to give myself to Him completely or to get out and leave this alone. And I was drunk, and those words just sobered me up. They weren't words from out there, it was just in my heart, but it sobered me up dramatically. And I went home and knelt by my bed because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. I didn't know very much about what was going on. And not being one of great faith at that point, I just said to God, if you exist, I want to get to know you. I want you to come into my life. And God responded, and He spoke into my heart and came into my heart, and it was like John Wesley, where he said his heart was strangely warmed. And I think that was something of my experience. And I was 18, just thinking about going to university and such like, and looking for meaning and purpose in life. And in the days that followed that, because that was Christmas morning by then, in the days that followed that, I just had a greater and greater sense of purpose, that whatever my ambitions in life, in business, whatever, being a Christian and being part of God's thing, I didn't know what to call it then, but being part of God's thing was the biggest thing on earth and in heaven. And just that sense of purpose and belonging and destiny, I suppose. I wouldn't have used that word then, but it's that sort of sense of calling and purpose in life was so significant to me at that time. I suppose the next key time was when Diana and I married. We had children, we've got 4 of them, and suddenly family becomes very important. And then I think it was at that time God spoke to me about His family, that suddenly being inclusive, and God wanted to bring people into His heavenly family, that he lets us know that He's our Father, not our President or Prime Minister or whoever. So that was a particularly meaningful time to suddenly think, I'm not going to church, but we are church, we are the family of God getting together. And that sort of changed my whole concept of church. The next area that I want to just touch on, that where I feel the Lord has made such a difference, is in my business. I'm a solicitor. I started my own solicitor's practice in 1981. Not knowing what I was doing and sort of learning on the job. I mean, I knew the law, but I didn't know how to run a business. And over 40 years of running a business, I think I've learned more about faith in the business than I ever did in church, which is not quite the right thing to say, I know. What I think it is that you actually see on a Monday morning whether what you learned on a Sunday works or not. And when you're in business, problems come in all shapes and sizes. They're mainly people and money. I think it's in the everyday life situation where you see whether your faith really works or not. And, you know, when you're touching other people's lives and situations, that you can bring God's power and love to bear. One of my solicitors said recently that she was dealing with another firm of solicitors and saying, you know, but they're not doing the thing right. They're not treating their client properly. And my colleague said to her, that's the sort of firm we are. We treat our clients properly. We treat them with respect. If we make a mistake, we put our hands up and say, sorry, we'll sort it out. And so we don't preach to the staff on a regular basis, but I share from time to time, and a lot of them know that I pray for them and for the business. But it's the way we train our people is that this is the standard. You know, this is not acceptable. This is where the level is. This is how we're looking after our clients. And we know that we're not all perfect, but it's bringing those sort of characteristics to bear into the work that we do. So if today you're looking at this and saying, I'm not sure I can believe in God, I'd encourage you to take a step. I think a lot of people on the outside of Christianity see it as religious. I've got to do certain things to win God's approval. And Christianity is not about religion, it's about relationship. A relationship with a God who loves you, who loves me, who loves all of us, whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not. He's that sort of a God, and it's coming into relationship with him. And so if you're there today thinking, I'm not sure I can do all this religious stuff, don't worry. Speak to God. Just talk into thin air now and say, God, if you're there, come into my life. Come and touch me. Come and meet my need. Heal me. Give me the resources I need to do what I need to do. Pray for family. Bring whatever needs you have to God. Let him touch you at that point. You haven't got to get to a certain place of religious perfection before God will speak to you. Just talk to him naturally in everyday language, and you'll begin a relationship with God.